Hello, this is Patrick. Welcome to my show. I did some videos yesterday and about the Iowa caucus and a few other things, and I couldn't get it up. I went to my other BitChute, and BitChute is problematic. It doesn't seem to work, or maybe I haven't figured it out. And I'm not that stupid, but they just need to get that thing working better. And what else happened? So the Iowa caucus I did last night, and I reported that in retrospect, I can see why I didn't put it up, because it's confusing, and it was confusing when I was doing it last night. And I have an easier way to do it today, but it had, I go, well, who's going to be number one? Who's going to benefit? And it said Biden would. The now rigged count. So he was, when I asked for the authentic last night, Biden was like, if it was a real count, he would not have benefited from a real account. See, it's a lot of double talk. It's the way I did it. And I couldn't really figure it out. Everybody didn't do well except for Sanders. That's the real count. Sanders did do well. And, some of the other people did more poorly. They had weaker showings. But the rigged account, we're going to do it right now. And we're going to go through, and I'm going to give them a label. And this will make sense. This is the easier way to do it. And in retrospect, now that I... Oh, you want to send in your absentee ballot? Oh, I love you, Max. I'm sorry. We want to hear the results. This is Maximus. He's actually... wag that tail. Come on, wag it more. Happy, happy, happy. There you go. There you go. Okay. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Want to cast your vote? Who do you want to vote for? Oh, dogs rule the world. Oh, you. What a beautiful dog, Max. Yeah. Anyway. He's a powerful dog. Don't let that tail wag you. He's really strong, and we'll let him go. Let's do this quickly, all right? And then I'll go. Basically, I'm going to give him a point score, stars. This is arbitrary, and I asked my higher self, just give me a rough idea what's going on in Iowa. What are the true results? And Warren, and we're going to give him a score. And Warren, 3. Bloomberg, he got half a star. I don't even know if he's on the ballot, but we gave him half a star. Buttigieg, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The mayor, looks like a 3. Biden. Let's just go right to Biden. Let's go to the meat of it. Biden. Is he under a 3? I want to know. No, he's a 3. So he's a 3. Look at all those 3. Those 3 guys tied. Bloomberg did not do well at all. And who else is there to do? Well, let's just go to Sanders. What did Sanders do? Sanders on this arbitrary scorecard is a 6. Maybe even a 6.5. Is that a 6.5? Would that be fair? Yeah. He stomped him. He really stomped. Biden is an also run with Warren and all those people. And am I missing? I know I'm missing people, but that's not the point. The point is they did rig it. And they got caught. And the intention of that app that was built, the intention of building the app was to cheat. And it got a -10. I go, what was the intention of the construction of that app that they sold the Iowa Democratic Party? It was to cheat. It's great. It blew up in their face. And Sanders is not he's not innocent here. he plays hardball in politics, and he's basically a Bolshevik. He's going to significantly change the country if he's elected. And they fired two. Was it Project Veritas? They went underground, like behind enemy lines, and they recorded those two young men, and they wanted to bring back the gulags. The gulags were awful. Those are concentration camps. Millions of people died there, and they were in Siberia, and innocent people were sent. That was the whole point, to send non-party believers. They essentially sent Christians. They sent Christian believers. If you believe in an authentic Christ or a church Christ like Orthodox or Catholics, they sent them to the Gulag. And he said, we're going to use a guillotine. These guys, those are Bernie backers. They're radical. But he's connecting some way. He's convincing some people to vote for him. He's bearing his radical views. And they think he's like a grandpa. When I douse him, he's awful. His attitude towards a miracle is really bad, Bernie. And but that he's going to be the victim here, maybe. So Biden, and maybe with Hillary's help, it looks like her people are involved. They might go to court, and they might prevent all those delegates. There's 41. So you go right to New Hampshire, and then you go to South Carolina where Biden is. So the whole thing, it's kind of entertaining. And Trump goes in there and declares victory. It looks pretty good. I don't know why he's doing the State of the Union, but when I did a Dows for the end of the week, Trump looking back, it's a good week for him. Now I see why. The Democrats are like the Keystone Cops. They're just stumbling over each other. And this is how the divine hand works. This is how God works. And by the way, the word God is super high. All right? So when you use it as a blasphemy, as a swear word, you're kind of blasting yourself. And as God is indifferent. You're when you swear with the word, you're pushing yourself away from life. And a lot of times it's understandable. You're swinging with your hammer and you hit your hand. You're going to say something. It hurts. But you're forgiven. The light is not so unforgiving. It's automatically forgiving. You go, I'm sorry. And you move on in life. Don't worry about it. But the people in Hollywood that swear like in the first 10 minutes, and they're just swearing this and that. They're using all these spiritual words as blasphemy, not blasphemy, but as swear words. They're doing it consciously, and that's a different category. So when you see Matt Damon and Brad Pitt, they're all messed up. These guys are just mentally and emotionally messed up, and I don't know if we can fix them. Kanye West, is that his name? He's really changed his life around from 2001. He was like similar to Trump. He was a very low number, and now he's up. He's getting decent. His consciousness, his intention, he's really putting forth, and he's going to change more. I project he's going to change even more. He's going to leave a lot of people behind because he is morphing into something different. And it's going to be his unique expression. It's not, chisels and stone. He's going to places I would never go, like the guy in Dallas, Joel Osteen. I would never even talk to that guy. But, these are stepping stones onto his journey. Wherever he's going to end up, he's going to end up a much higher frequency. When you compared it to like 2001, he's here. And he's really making forward. And he's trying to bring order to his life. And it's no small, it doesn't matter how much money you have. This is very difficult journeys. And it's his journey, and he's going to succeed. And it comes with some costs, but you know what? You sleep better at night, You have better things like that. So how did I get into that swearing? Because they... And who did I say was going to win? I said I still get Biden is favored, but things are changing quickly. He's at 50%. He was a few weeks ago. He was weathering this storm pretty good. He was weathering the storm good, and he was at 75% probability. And for some reason, he went down to 50% the last 3 weeks. So they're making inroads, and it's probably his other Democratic opponents that have been making inroads. And finally, I had war with Iran. That changed quite a bit too. So I have some changes to report that are very, it almost looks like another timeline because usually you don't get these changes. Usually it's pretty static and, bam, we hit the probability, especially at 90% or so. So we had the United States going to war with Iran, Israel going to war with Iran was at 95%. And that was been a couple years. And the outcome of that war for both Iran and Israel was there is no winner. They're just like standing there, exhausted, and it was just like stupid. And what happened? For some reason, Trump ordered Soleimani to be killed. And since then, I went yesterday, and the probability of war with Iran from the United States is at 50%. I don't know if it's that event, but there appears to be a cause and effect. And what is Israel war with Iran? Israel war with Iran. That dropped down to 60%. So it affected both countries. What is the probability of peace in Yemen? That just came to me to ask that question. It went up a lot. We're up at 60, 85%. Everybody's tired of that war. So these wars have been, did this man keep all these conflicts going? It appears so. And we'll see what happened. Now I had Turkey making those two, going into Libya, going into Turkey. It's not going to go well for Turkey. They shouldn't be doing that. They should just go in as peacekeepers, but they've had some contact with the Damascus forces of Assad, and you can't have that. Now the Syrians are really angry, So I don't think Turkey knows what they're doing, and I doubt that too. It's not going to go well. Either war. What is the probability this takes Erdogan down? This war? Is this the issue that it's a 60% chance? And frequently, if you don't win wars and you're head of country, it can take you down. The virus, I don't want to talk about it too much, and it's starting to outbreak, and everything is sort of a lie. So I can't report on against newspaper headlines, and I don't know what's going on. I just did it. One of the comments asked me to say something, and I looked at it, and it looks weak. It looks like a weak virus compared to, the swine flu. It's much weaker. So what is going on? Or the Spanish flu, let's say, that killed millions and millions of people in World War One. You remember that one? That was like, that's a 9.5. Toxic. Really, really toxic. And really high casualty rate. And this one, I don't know. They're saying all these people are dying, and I have to take their word for it. But I get it. I'm sort of right now, I'm getting the feeling it's like if you're old and your immune system's down, yeah, you can die. And everybody's closing them down. Who does this benefit? It benefits the Chinese government in one. Especially, have you heard about any Chinese protesters? No, I think this kind of turned it off, didn't it? Because there's been an outbreak in Hong Kong. And so we don't know about all the political protests throughout China, which the Communist Party is exposed to. This shuts it all down. This brings an iron hand down. But I don't understand why the states, United States, and Russia and other countries, they're cutting the airline routes. And they could be just being cautious. They don't know either. They probably don't believe what the Chinese are saying. But these viruses, there's so many man-made viruses just for warfare, that even makes it more complicated. So I'm just leaving with I don't know. And I did douse it. I gave you what I thought. I can't see all the ramifications. I can't think like they do. It's hard to think. You got to think a little evil, like to unravel the mystery a little bit. And we'll just pray it all ends up. I think it's going to have a life cycle. It's going to end on its own. But in the meantime, they're going to ratchet up all the fear. They're going to close more borders. They're going to probably, there's going to be spare part shortages. They're already like Hyundai in Korea and Kia and the iPhones. All those factories in China are being closed down. And that affects the factories in South Korea. Things like that. It's going to get, so our supplies can be affected. And so the ramifications when you go through your head, look, the price of oil is going down. Yes, this is nice. The price of oil is going down. China's using 20% less, but that's gonna already spark more derivatives to go into default, like to it's those derivatives are just awful. And that is our financial crisis right now. That's what the impeachment is all about. And probably the Democrats in Iowa is all related to Wall Street finance. They need to fix this their way, and they don't want Bernie's way. I don't know what his way. He might nationalize the banks. That's his way. And there's an argument for it. Well, he goes, well, you guys are messing up. And Trump way is the third way, what we're doing. And we'll see what happens. And then the peace plan. Let's just do the peace plan. It's the most ridiculous document ever created. But let's just go look at it. Could you weigh it's dead on arrival. I can't even get. So it's completely dark. And did Trump do this just to put he knows it's going to be a failure. Does he know does he think it's going to be a failure? Yeah. 100% he believes it's going to be a failure. He knows no one's going to do it. So it's a political maneuver. He submitted this for politics. He doesn't anticipate actually talking into the Palestinians giving up what? Syria gives up the Golan Heights. I don't know. If I was a Palestinian, I would ask for I would mirror that. You know what I mean? That's in hypnosis. So you mirror it, which means you kind of copy it back at them. Well, we would like Haifa, and you guys can keep Tel Aviv, and we'll take Jerusalem, and the American embassy can stay in Jerusalem, but it's Palestinian territory. I mean, you just go to the theater of the absurd and say things like that, and just like, they want all this land, and I don't know what, what is the probability? 60%. So Soleimani's death had a significant impact that peace will have more likely, but it's still kind of high for Israel and Iran. But the U.S., the United States and Iran, there could be back channel talk. Now I have the mullahs lasting much longer, maybe till the end of summer, maybe August, September, October, something like that. Things could go against them, and they could have a change of government. And we just have to be there to be positive towards the people. So I can't think of I gotta go. So you got the gist. These things are. Was the Super Bowl rigged? Yes. But my dowsing says it was rigged for the San Francisco 49ers to win. And, I'm getting more of the regular season games this year were rigged than normal. Usually it's about 18%. This year it was 50%. And I also noticed there are more dramatic endings to the game, like it was choreographed. How would you rig the game? Mostly through the referees. So it's not that people don't get injured. People die in this sport. I mean, they're hitting hard, and but they can rig it from the refereeing. That's part of it, and other people are involved to an extent. Most of the players might not be aware of it. I don't want to look at that. I think because they do get cut after 1 year. I mean, they do have to perform. They do have to, and I think they're genuine. I think some players suspect it because the way the refereeing in some games, you go like, well, they just give the game to the other team. And in this case, it was almost like a divine hand came in, and because the quarterback was an authentic human being. He had emotions and feelings. He didn't have any chips. He didn't do any super hypnosis on himself, or in childhood they didn't do traumatic brainwashing. And he's just a big, strong kid who enjoys the game, and you can see he has a personality. And the other guys, they're a little off, the ones I mentioned the other day. And all is being exposed, isn't it? Look at this Iowa thing. It's just blowing up in everybody's face, and they don't know what to do. We'll see. Biden, the victim, he's the one who is going to benefit. He says, I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue if they don't do something. I don't know what he wants them to do. But as he doesn't want the truth to be out because he needs to make it to South Carolina. So in his thing, I'll just throw it in the courts. They won't decide on those guys. And by the time we get into the Super Tuesdays, I'll have won the whole shebang, and Bernie will be out of it. So from his perspective, it doesn't matter, whether it's in the courts or what. I have a feeling. And the other thing was they recorded. Bernie Sanders people went into every precinct that was having the caucus, and they recorded the results live on their iPhones and cameras. And apparently, the Democratic Party did not know about this, so they know Bernie's people has a competing slate, a tablet, and it's all different from the official. And that's why the counting, I think, stopped, because Bernie's saying, well, no, we have this. And they go, how do you know? We recorded it. Uh-oh. How many did you record? All of them. So that's going to go up, and that's going to blow up. And they go to their convention in Milwaukee, I believe. And I just see it's going to be like this, just like this, all the way to the election. And I think we're going to be amazed. I saw a lot of, I saw some paranormal type activity in the last week out of nowhere, starts picking up. So maybe the ethers are starting to pick up a little bit, and we're going to see a lot of interesting things in our world. Goodbye. Thank you. God bless you all. Max says he loves you all. Thank you.